Paris, July 12, 1998. In a quiet hotel room outside the city, the best footballer on the planet is lying on a bed, convulsing. His body is shaking. Witnesses would later say he was foaming at the mouth. His teammates are screaming for help. And in just a few hours, he's supposed to play in the World Cup final. What happened next is one of the strangest stories in football history. And by the end of this video, I want you to guess who he is. The summer of 1998, the World Cup has come to France, and one nation has arrived as defending champions and overwhelming favorites, a South American footballing superpower chasing a fifth world title. And at the center of it all is one man, a 21-year-old striker, the reigning World Player of the Year, the most feared forward on earth. His federation has just signed the biggest sponsorship deal football has ever seen, a contract reported to be worth $160 million. And he is the face of all of it. Billboards, TV adverts, the whole tournament, built around one number 9. His team cruises to the final. The stage is set, the favorites against the host nation at the Stade de France. The world expects a coronation. But to understand the pressure on his shoulders, you have to understand how fast he rose. As a teenager, he left South America for a club in the Netherlands and scored at a rate nobody could believe. Then came a record-breaking transfer to Spain, to one of the giants of Catalonia, where in a single season he scored over 40 goals and produced moments that made grown defenders look like training cones. 1 year later, another world record fee. This time to Italy, to the blue and black half of Milan, in what was then the toughest league on the planet. By 21, he had already been named the world's best player twice. Before most players have even made their debut, he wasn't just a striker, he was a phenomenon, and in the summer of 1998, everything he had ever worked for came down to one final. July the 12th, the day of the final. After lunch, the squad returns to their rooms to rest. At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, his roommate, the team's famous left back, notices something is horribly wrong. The star striker is having a fit, his body convulsing. According to multiple reports, he was foaming at the mouth. His roommate screams for help. A teammate from the next room bursts in. A defender reportedly reaches into his mouth to stop him swallowing his tongue before the doctors have even arrived. And then he falls asleep. When he wakes up, reportedly, nobody tells him what just happened. The team doctors are stunned. One later admitted he had never seen a player suffer convulsions before. The striker is quietly taken to a Paris clinic for emergency tests, hours before the biggest game of his life. Meanwhile, at the stadium, the team sheet is submitted, and the world stops. His name isn't on it. The reigning World Player of the Year dropped from a World Cup final. Commentators can't believe what they're reading. Another striker is named in his place. But then, around 40 minutes before kickoff, everything changes again. The striker arrives at the stadium, test results in hand, and tells his coach, "I'm fine, I'm playing." A new team sheet appears, his name is back, the replacement is crossed out, and the World Cup final kicks off with a man who, just hours earlier, had been convulsing in a hotel bed. What followed was one of the flattest performances anyone had ever seen from him. His team lost the final 3-0 to the hosts. He looked like a ghost. And then, the questions began. Why did he play? Who decided? Was a 21-year-old, hours removed from an apparent seizure, really in any state to make that call himself? The theories exploded. It was claimed at the time that the team's mega-sponsor had pressured him, or the federation, to make sure their poster boy played, no matter what. The sponsor strongly denied any interference, and nothing was ever proven. Other reports claimed a dressing room split over whether he should play at all. Some even whispered that the final itself had been thrown, a claim with no evidence behind it, ever. But the story grew so big that it reached the country's parliament. A congressional inquiry was opened into the federation's sponsorship contract. Around 125 witnesses were called. The coach, the teammates, the federation president, and the striker himself, testifying about the most mysterious afternoon in World Cup history. No wrongdoing was ever proven. The official explanation remains a convulsive episode, cause unknown, followed by clear test results, and a player who simply refused to miss a World Cup final. And here's the twist. 4 years later, at the next World Cup, he came back, and this time, in the final, he scored twice and lifted the trophy. One of the greatest redemption stories football has ever seen. But what really happened in that hotel room in Paris? To this day, nobody knows for sure. So, let's recap the clues. Clue number 1. He's South American, from the nation with more World Cups than anyone. Clue number 2. He's a striker, a number 9. Clue number 3. He played in the Netherlands, then Spain, then Italy, breaking the world transfer record along the way. Clue number 4. He was named the world's best player twice, before turning 22. Clue number 5. He collapsed on the day of the 1998 World Cup final and played anyway. And clue number 6. 4 years later, he answered everything, with 2 goals in another World Cup final. So, can you guess who this footballer is? Drop your answer in the comments below. No spoilers in the first hour. Let everyone play. If you got it instantly, tell me which clue gave it away. And if this is your first time hearing this story, subscribe, because football's greatest mysteries are just getting started.